Your doctor runs your blood work. Everything comes back normal, but you feel terrible. You're exhausted. You can't lose weight. Your digestion's a mess. Your brain feels foggy, and your doctor says all your labs are fine. Here's what they're not telling you. Normal doesn't mean healthy, and they're not testing the things that would actually reveal what's going on with your metabolism. Let me show you what's missing. Hey, I'm Wendy, a certified functional nutritionist and advanced live and dry blood analysis here in Northern Ontario. For over 30 years, I've been looking at blood work, first as a nurse, now as a functional practitioner. And I can tell you that conventional lab testing misses about 80% of what's actually happening in your body. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what your doctor isn't testing, why these tests matter, and what they would reveal about your metabolic health. Because you deserve to know what's actually going on in your body. So, let's start with why your normal blood work might be lying to you. When your doctor runs standard labs, they're comparing your results to a reference range. And that reference range represents the average value from everyone's who's had that test done at the lab. But here's the problem. Average doesn't mean optimal, and it definitely doesn't mean normal or healthy. If the average person in North America has insulin resistance, inflammation, and nutrient deficiencies, which most of them do, then normal just means that you're sick like everyone else. Let me give you a real example. Fasting glucose. The normal range is typically 70 to 99 milligrams per deciliter. So if yours comes back at 98, your doctor says totally normal, nothing to worry about. But functionally, I want to see fasting glucose between 75 and 85. When you're consistently above 90, you're already on the path towards insulin resistance. You're years away from a diabetic diagnosis, but the damage is happening now. Your doctor won't intervene until you hit 100, which is the pre-diabetic cutoff. By then, you're already spent years with elevated insulin, inflammation, and metabolic dysfunction. That's the problem with waiting for an abnormal lab results. By the time you're abnormal enough to treat, you've been suffering for years. So what should your doctor be testing for that they're not? Well, let me walk you through the most important ones. First of all, insulin, fasting insulin. This is the single most important test that almost never gets ordered. Your doctor tests glucose, blood sugar, but not insulin. That's like checking the smoke, but not the fire. Insulin rises years before glucose does. You can have perfectly normal blood sugar, but sky-high insulin, which usually means your pancreas is working overtime to keep the sugar in check. That's insulin resistance. And it's the root cause of weight gain, inflammation, hormonal chaos, and eventually type 2 diabetes. Optimal fasting insulin should be below 5. I see clients whose insulin levels are 15, 20, 30, and their doctors never tested it. Hemoglobin A1C. So this one sometimes gets tested, but not often enough and not interpreted correctly. A1C shows the average blood sugar over the past 3 months. The normal range, usually under 7.5%. But again, normal doesn't mean optimal. I want to see A1C below 5.3%. When you're between 5.4 and 5.6, you're already in that pre-diabetic zone functionally, even though your doctor says that you're fine. Thyroid panel, complete, not just the TSH. Most doctors only test TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. And if it's in that range, they say your thyroid is fine. But TSH only tells you what your pituitary is doing. If it doesn't tell you what your thyroid is actually producing or what your cells can use for those hormones, you actually need the TSH, free T3, the active thyroid hormone, free T4, which is the storage form, the reverse T3, the brake pedal, and thyroid antibodies to check autoimmunity. I see women all over the time with normal TSH, but their free T3 is in the basement. That's why they're exhausted, gaining weight and losing hair. But the doctor says their thyroid is fine. Inflammatory markers. So chronic inflammation drives everything: weight gain, heart disease, autoimmune, brain fog, and pain. But most doctors don't trust inflammation unless they're looking at something specific. You should be testing for high sensitivity CRP, so C-reactive protein, homocysteine, ferritin, which is the iron storage, but also an inflammatory marker. These tell you if you have chronic inflammation happening at the cellular level years before it shows up as a disease. Also, nutrient status. So your doctor might test basic nutrients if you're severely deficient, but they're not really checking optimal levels. Critical levels that get missed: vitamin D, which should be between 50 and 80, not just above 30. Magnesium, most people are deficient, but serum levels don't show it. B12, which needs to be above 500 for optimal function. Iron panels, ferritin, TIBC, serum iron, not just hemoglobin. Zinc and copper ratios. These nutrients directly affect your metabolism, energy production, hormone balance, and immune function. Now here's where things get really interesting. Everything I just talked about, these are conventional blood tests. They're important, but they only show what's happening in your blood chemistry. Live blood analysis shows what's happening at the cellular level. When I look at your blood under a microscope, live, moving in real time, I can see dysfunction that won't show up on blood work for years. Here's what I'm looking for. Red blood cell health. Are your cells round and healthy? Are they misshapen, clumped together, or stuck in a rouleau formation, which is like kind of stacked like coins? This tells me circulation, oxygenation, and whether you have inflammation, dehydration, or blood sugar issues. We're also looking at white blood cell activity. So how active are your immune cells? Are they responding appropriately? Are they sluggish? Are they overactive? This reveals immune dysfunction, chronic infections, and inflammatory patterns. Cellular debris and toxicity. So I can see undigested proteins, fats, and cholesterol crystals floating in your blood. This tells me your digestion isn't working, your liver is overwhelmed, or you have a toxic burden. Fungal and bacterial patterns. So sometimes I can actually see yeast and bacterial forms in the blood, signs of gut dysfunction and systemic overgrowth. Blood viscosity. So is your blood flowing easily, or is it thick and sluggish? This affects everything: energy, circulation, nutrient delivery, detoxification. All of this shows up in your live blood years before conventional labs flag a problem. I've had clients whose standard blood work looked perfect, but when I looked at their live blood, I can see insulin resistance, inflammation, gut dysfunction, and liver stress. That's when we can intervene before it becomes a disease. So what should you do if your doctor isn't testing these things? There's a few options. Option 1, ask for them. You can request these tests from your doctor. So some might push back, but many will order them if you advocate for yourself. It's your body. Bring this list. Tell them you want comprehensive metabolic testing, not just basics. Order them for yourselves. So in Canada, you can work with naturopaths or who order comprehensive panels. Within my scope, I can only suggest. In the US, there is also direct-to-consumer lab companies where you can order tests without a doctor's order. And option 3, get live blood analysis. If you're local to the greater Sudbury area here or in Sudbury in Northern Ontario, this is what I do. I look at your blood in real time under the microscope, live and dry blood analysis in real time. I do a health history, a comprehensive nutritional and symptomatology assessment. Then I create a personalized protocol for you based on what your body actually needs, not generic advice, but specific nutrition, supplements, and lifestyle changes based on your unique metabolic dysfunction. Because here's the truth. You can't fix what you can't measure. If you don't know what's broken, you're just guessing. And guessing keeps you stuck. If this resonates with you, if you've been told that everything is normal, but you know something isn't right, I want to help you get real answers. I offer comprehensive metabolic assessments that include live and dry blood analysis, symptomatology assessment to determine vitamin, mineral, and systemic imbalances, personalized protocols based on your results. If you're in Greater Sudbury area, you can book a session with me. The link is in the description below. If you're not local, I also work virtually with clients across Canada through Nutritional consults and Metabolic Balance programs. That includes a comprehensive blood work analysis and personalized nutrition protocols. And if you want to dive deeper into blood sugar specifically, because that's the foundation of metabolic health, I've got a free blood sugar breakthrough 7-day challenge for you. There's also a link in the description below. Your health is important, and it's too important to settle for normal. You deserve to know what's actually happening in your body. You deserve to catch problems early when they're still reversible. And you deserve a practitioner who's willing to look a little bit deeper. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe. I post twice a week, Mondays and Fridays, with educational content about metabolic health, nutrition, and what's actually taking to feel good again. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.